Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tori Brame and this is Holy City Mystic. So today I am going to do a Q&A on Yods. I posted something on my Instagram requesting people to drop questions below, and then I also put up a photo on my YouTube and I got some really great questions on both of those. So I just wanted to hit a few of them today. If you have more questions, please drop them in the comments below, and I might do another Q&A on Yods when I get enough questions. So the first question is the itch of the Yods something that permeates through life? And then the asker goes on to clarify like that feeling of you have to do something, that itch feeling, that discomfort of the quincunxes, does that last as long as you're alive? I would say the answer is yes and no. So as a person gets older, just in general, they become more at peace with their chart. They start learning the lessons that it has to offer, and they are more able, they're more comfortable with things that they just have throughout life. So maybe if you have like a really intense square or an opposition or something like that in your chart, it's one of those things that you're like really annoyed by for a long time. And then at some point you just kind of open up to it and you're like, this is life. This is specifically my life. This is what my life looks like. This is something that I am always going to have to deal with. I may as well just go with the flow with it. Now with Yods, they do have a really intense feeling, like you have that feeling of purpose, like you are meant to do something more. And it's like the more you do that thing, the better you feel, the more that eases up. So if you have a Mercury Yod and you're a writer, or you're some kind of public speaker or something like that, the more you do it, the more you have peace with yourself, the more you have peace with the life that you're in. You know, will you ever feel like you wrote enough books or you did enough public speaking or, you know, whatever it is? Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. The more you work with that energy, the better you're going to feel. It is like scratching the itch. I hope that answers your question. The next question is, what happens if I have multiple Yods? And then there was another question later, are all the Yods equally important? So these were two different askers, but I think they dovetail well together. So I'm just gonna go ahead and answer them both. It's interesting because Yods are very rare. Some years we don't have any. Other years we have, you know, like this year we actually have like 6 coming up or something, and then the moon will actually make more Yods throughout the year. So in order to be born at just the right time so that you have a Yod in your chart, that's pretty rare. But what's interesting is a lot of people, when they do have a Yod in their chart, they'll actually have multiple Yods. And so it's kind of like that, just doubling down on destiny, where it's like, so you have something to do, you have a purpose here. God, the universe, your higher self, whatever you believe in, decided that you were not only strong enough to handle one clear mission, you were strong enough to handle multiple. So are all Yods equally important? I think they are. I think they also come out at different times during your life. So, you know, it might be the type of thing where something is really, really strong when you're a child, and then it kind of eases up, and then it comes back really strongly in your 30s. And then it kind of eases up, and then in your 60s again, it is really intense. That might be Saturn going over the apex a few times. Or it might just be a low hum in the background constantly, where it's like you just have this calling, it's this pull, this draw towards something that you can't get rid of, you can't ignore. And the more you try to get rid of it or ignore it, the more it comes back and just like hits you in the face. You'll really just have to reflect on your own chart and your own life to see how they're acting for you, because they are going to act differently for every person. They have the same gist, the same basics, but how it plays out in your life is going to be unique to you. How can I use my Yod to understand what I am here to heal? That is a really good question. So it's interesting because a lot of people have a Chiron Yod, which is something that is directly linked to healing. The North Node is also another Yod that I see a lot that is linked to healing. And so how can you understand your Yod to understand what you're here to heal? You know, a lot of people with Yods, they have a rough childhood because they have to practice that. They have to practice what it is like to be different. to not fit in, to go against the grain, because that is what they have to do as an adult. They have to change something. They have to heal something, either in their family, their immediate circle, their partner, society, anything like that. And they are meant to do that. It's a destined calling. It's a finger of God pointing you in a certain direction. So how can you understand your yod better? You know, there's 3 things you really have to look at. You have to look at what house it's in, what the base planets are, what the apex is. Is it your sun? Is it your Mercury? Is it Pluto? And then what sign they're all in as well. And it really is just a math problem. And the more you do it, the better you get at it, because it's kind of confusing at first. But, you know, if it's Mercury at the apex, that is going to be writing, speech, communication, short distance travel, stuff like that. If it's in Aries, that's going to be more of a fire energy. It's going to be your advocating for the self. If it's in your 5th house, that's going to be children, creativity, romance, gambling, you know, like stepping out on a limb, doing things heart first. And so that yod might be writing children's books, writing a lot of children's books just over and over and over, talking about how to be strong, how to be yourself, how to accept yourself, how to love yourself, stuff like that. So I mean, just kind of do this over and over with different examples and write down all the words and kind of put them together. So with that example, you know, it's Mercury. So you write down all the things associated with Mercury, and then it's in Aries, and you write down all the things associated with Aries, and then it's in your 5th house. And so you write down all the things associated with the 5th house, and then you just kind of put all those things together and see what you come up with. And usually one of those things is going to be like a ding, 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 where it definitely is something that you've thought about before, something that resonates with you very strongly. And then you can go from there to see how that will play out in your life. Okay, so this is a good one. What if a conjunction makes up an apex or a base? So I love this one. If a conjunction, I'll just answer the bases first. If a conjunction makes up a base, I usually just do it as one yod, because the other 2 points are going to be not conjunctions. If you have something where it's like you have maybe a 5-degree conjunction on both bases, I might use that as 2 yods with the same apex. But since the apex is the thing that all the energy is channeled into, I tend to just still use that as 1 yod. So a conjunction of the apex, this gets a little sticky because you have to look at what the conjunction is. So if it is a sun-moon conjunction less than 1 degree, I would keep that as a single apex and a single yod, because that is so close together. That means something very specific, and that meaning of those 2 conjoined things is going to be your destiny point, is going to be the apex of your yod. I would say a good rule of thumb just in general would be to, if it's less than 1 degree, treat it as 1. If it's more than 1 degree, I would treat it as 2. Also, if it's something that are not alike, 2 things that are not alike, okay, that's vague, but so if you have a planet conjoining an angle, I might treat that as 2 yods. If you have, like, you know, maybe your part of fortune on top of your MC, those are both derived points, so I would treat them as 1 yod. So it really is not an exact science when it comes to this, because there's so much arguing and disagreement over what even is considered a yod. A lot of people just use planets. Some people will use the angles, but not the nodes. Other people will use the nodes, but not the angles. And, you know, so it's complicated, exactly like what people use. So I'm just telling you what I would do if I were looking at this chart as far as the odds. Use your own best judgment, and if you are living out this chart, you are going to be the expert on what this is, because you are living it, you feel it every day, you know what your life looks like. And so, you know, if somebody comes along and they're like, oh, that doesn't count, but you feel it counting every single day, trust that. So the last question I'm going to do for now is, do planets have an influence on the apex if they are in direct opposition? Yes, they do, definitely. That is actually called a yod kite, and I will link below a video on that. But they definitely do, because with a kite, instead of everything being channeled into the apex, it actually goes back to the opposition to the apex and then shoots forward again. So that is going to be very significant as far as timing goes, because every time something is conjoining the apex, it is also in opposition to the opposition of the apex, and it just adds a layer of intensity. So I would definitely pay attention to that. Yes, it has a direct influence on it. So that is all I have for now. I really hope those were helpful. If you have like any clarifying questions or anything like that, please drop them below. I will answer what I can in the comments. And then if I can't, I'll probably just do another YouTube video on another Q&A. So thank you all for being here. I'm so happy to see you back. If you want more of my content, please like and subscribe. And if not, just, move along. You don't even have to like it. Like, just go. It's fine. It's cool. All right. Take care, guys. Bye.